And welcome back. Welcome back to the Vision Alignment Show, where we talk so much about the importance of having our core beliefs, our core values, and strengths aligned with our vision. Now, today we're going to have a guest on today that has been with us before. Her name is Laura Staley. I'm not sure where Laura is right now. She's not in the green room, so I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that she is doing okay wherever she is. Hopefully things are well. So prayers are with you, Laura, and look forward to seeing you soon. Having said that, we have a great show lined up for you still today. I mean, it's incredible to get to experience so much from so many different people. When I think about this vision that I have to be able to help other people to embrace their own personal blindness to achieve a greater vision for their lives. So doing that, we begin to understand the importance of knowing what we're not seeing. Realizing that we are all blind at some point. So if we can realize that we're blind and then begin to see those blind spots and have people along with us that will help to see our blind spots, then we're going to be able to go so much farther than we ever thought we could. Because we all have blind spots. We all have blindness in our lives. And that blindness is preventing us from going forward. So I want to tell you a little bit about the different parts of the program that have changed. So not this program, but the program that I use to serve other people, to help those that are looking for some inspiration, looking for some motivation, looking for some real life gratitude. And that's really what I supply, is real life gratitude. So having said that, we talk about taking people from a point of blindness to sight to vision. Now, as you may remember, blindness is when you discover that you have blind spots, that you have blindness, because we all have blindness in our lives. So if we can understand that blindness, then we're going to be able to be able to see through those blind spots. But you can't identify your blind spots on your own, or they wouldn't be considered blind spots. So blind spots are something that other people help you to see. Now, they may be other people in terms of a coach, a mentor. It could be just a good friend, or maybe a spouse. There's lots that go into those blind spots. But we're going to talk a little bit more about vision. We're going to talk about more about insight, and vision here in a minute. But I'm looking forward to sharing this all with all of you. Hopefully you'll stay with me, because I know we've got a lot to offer, and I'm hoping you stay right there. But if you would, listen to what else we have to say. Talk soon. And we're back. So we have some people on that want to say hello while we're preparing for the next step in this journey. So good morning, Randy Chaffee, the guy that has a show himself like this one. Incredible stuff you're doing with your friend Wes, and just great to see you, the stuff that you're doing there. So and my good friend Jeff Young is on as well. Hello, Jeff. Hopefully you're doing well. Can't wait to see you again, and look forward to maybe having a breakfast or something sometime soon. So, yes, thank you for that, for the inspiration. Now, we talked a little bit about blindness. And blindness, we begin to understand you have blind spots. So you have blindness. There's something that you're not seeing. So think about how you're not going forward. I actually had a conversation this morning with my friend Tom, and we had breakfast. And we were talking about how, this one aspect of the business, he felt as though he was doing very well with lead conversions. So in lead conversions, he rated himself a 9 or maybe even 10. I'm not sure, but a 9 for this area. But then there were some questions that were asked below that in terms of how well you're doing in certain specific areas that led to that 9. Well, he answered no to all those questions. And no means bad. So he didn't have a definite plan. He didn't have a conversion process. He didn't have all the different things you need to have in order to be able to say you're a 10 or a 9 with this area. So he realized in that moment that he had a blind spot, but he couldn't see it on his own. He had to have someone else help him to see that blind spot. Now, it wasn't me. It was the form that he was following, just through a text that he was following, asking him certain questions. So he realized that he was not doing what he needed to do in order to get to be a 10 or even a 9. So that's really where we have blindness. But when we have sight, we begin to see our own blind spots. We begin to see through those blind spots. So as we're to go on with the conversation we had earlier about Tom and the work he was doing to get to a 10 or a 9, yeah, he wasn't doing what's needed to get to that. So when he had sight, he began to see that, oh, I do need to do something. I do need to do something different in order to have the effect that I want to have in order to get to that 9 or a 10 for real. So that's where he had sight. And so, but blindness is where you realize you have things you're not seeing. Sight is where you begin to see through your blind spots. And vision is where it all happens. It all comes together. And you begin to identify with a preferred state, a preferred future. You can even call it your purpose. So there is where for him, for that conversion process, he's gonna realize that yes, he's not a 10 or a 9, he's a 2, and then he'll understand here's where I'm not doing what I need to be doing in order to get to that level. But then that vision, that preferred state, that's where he's gonna understand that he has some work to do. He has some real soul searching. Maybe not soul searching. Maybe it's just identifying. Hey, I need to do a better job of identifying these characteristics. I need to have a long-term plan for lead conversions. All that what goes into that. So that is really where you're going to have your preferred state, your preferred future. So that is how we take people from a point of blindness to sight to vision, because blindness is more about awareness than anything. Sight or insight is where you have acceptance. And then vision. The vision is where you have action. We're going to take action with what it is you know about your process. So that is so important. And I can't tell you how happy I am to have had that experience with Tom this morning, because that really gave us good information in terms of what we all go through when we have that moment in our lives where we understand we have blindness. So a couple other things that have been added to the program. One of those is a little bit about my nickname. So as you're all aware, I do have a nickname. Yes, it's right there on the screen. But this nickname came to me after I've had a lot of different nicknames over the years. This one nickname happened when I was out to dinner with my wife, and we were sitting there having dinner, and our waitress walked up and she took our order, and she asked if we had any questions, and of course my wife always has at least one question, so she asked her questions and got good answers, and then she looked at me and she said, "Do you have any questions?" And I always have at least one. My question is, what's your name? And yeah, it's that annoying guy that does that. But I still like to ask questions. I still like to know a person's name. And yes, I can't always see her name tag. So she said to me, "Well, my name's Sarah." And I said, "Sarah, that's a beautiful name. Is that with an H?" And she said, "Oh, no. We don't waste our ink on an H." We don't waste our ink on an H. Okay? And so I thought that was funny. And then she made the mistake of asking me my name. Well, what's your name, sir? I said, my name's Brian. And then I looked her straight on and I said, that's with one eye. Oh, that was great because at that moment, I knew who I was. I'm Brian with one eye. And that is now a part of the program, part of what I talk to people about, because I know who I am. And yes, other people know who they are too, but they may have stepped into a different role. Maybe they begin to do different things. You know, maybe they're a new father or a new mom. You know, they need to understand that their lives have changed. Maybe they've gotten a promotion at work. Maybe they've gotten a different job, a different field, or whatever. They need to handle themselves different. They need to do more research. They need to look at things differently than they have before. So if they can do that, if they can realize their new name, their new livelihood, if you will, and understand how important that is to help them be able to serve other people, then they're going to be able to do more than they've ever thought they could do. So look forward to hearing more about Brian with one eye. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have eye patches. So these eye patches are in a little folder, like, or a little plastic baggie, and it says a radical vision on it, but it also says brianwithoneeye.com. So yes, I have the URL for brianwithoneeye.com. And some people think that's weird, but that's okay, because we are able to use that to help other people. So I want to help other people know what makes them unique. And yes, what makes me unique is not my eye. What makes me unique is my willingness to share my story with other people, to have a lasting impact on their lives. And I know that it's important to be able to do that because I have a story to share. I have so much going on with me medically right now that I want to make sure that I'm doing my best to share that with as many people as I can. So we're going to continue to do that. So that's the eye patches. Oh, and the other thing is the knitting. So we've made some additions to our program with the knitting, where we had the knitting before with the Ohio School for the Blind, but we also talk a little bit about my grandma and how, you know, my grandma would always be knitting whenever we'd go over there. But she left me those 4 winks of wisdom. Winks of wisdom. Gotta love that, right? So these winks of wisdom, or secrets, if you will, they were, Brian, life, it's going to turn out different than you planned. That's one. Always be open to reimagine your life. That's 2. So life is going to turn out different than you planned. Always be open to reimagine your life. And 3rd is find what makes you unique and use that to make someone else's life better. And that's 3 and 4. Find what makes you unique and use that to make someone else's life better. So that's what Grandma left me with. That's a big part of the story. So we talk a lot about knitting. But as you've seen before, I do have a scarf from the knitting from the Ohio School for the Blind. But we also have a scarf that's been made for it's a prayer shawl, and it has much tighter knit loops, if you will, loopies. So that ability to make those loops smaller and tighter and more conforming, really made a beautiful Afghan or a shawl scarf, if you will. That allowed them to be able to use their skills in order to help me, to serve me. So there's so much that we all have, so much we all can do. So the group that I spoke to last week was a group for the community of service, community Community Service Providers of South Dakota. And that was a great group. So look forward to having more conversations with them and other groups like them. So that's it for today. I don't have much more than that to share with you, but I do want to make sure that we continue to pray for Laura. Hopefully she's doing okay, and hopefully everything's all right. Maybe I just messed up the time with her, but I apologize for that. If I did, Laura, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's talk more soon. And as always, keep one eye on the road. Take care. We'll see you soon. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.